Hey everyone, how's everyone doing? So, we're doing an episode today of Transformation Time. We're going to be having Shaun on, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun because basically, Transformation Time is learning about the guest speaker's personal development journey and where they're at right now and what their plans are for the future. So, I can see that Shaun's here, so let me just get him on. Give me a minute. There we go. Oh no, that's funny. Shaun, you have to update your Instagram version. I guess we had a version come up because I feel like the last 3 weeks have been everyone needs to upgrade their Instagram. So, Shaun, if you want to just quickly update your Instagram and then come back on, then we can get started. And if you can just let me know that you're going to do that, that'd be great. So yeah, guys. So basically, transformation time is basically about we can have all the knowledge in the world to do whatever we want to do. But really, what it takes to be an entrepreneur is being an action taker. So this show is basically about that. Basically, your personal development, because to be able to do anything in life, you have to really change yourself all the time and get to know and do what you need to do to be that entrepreneur, to be the best that you can be. So that's the purpose of this show, is just to understand, what people are doing, because it's not always about the knowledge. Okay, I can see Shaun's back, so let me get him on. Just give him a minute to get on and we can start rolling.
Hello,
Hey
hello.
Shaun, how are you?
Diana, how are you doing today?
I'm good. What about yourself?
I'm doing amazing. We finally got some beautiful weather rolling around the corner.
Oh yeah. I feel like
Springtime is here. It's awesome.
yeah, I feel like everyone wants to probably start being outside now.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely.
So thanks so much for coming on. I think your story will be a great story because even though you're still in the beginnings, you have been making some good strides that will definitely help you, with your future. You're gonna grow, especially that you're so young.
Mhm.
So to get started, normally ask where you are now, but I think it will be in your situation is better to know where you started, like where you were at, like um before getting to real estate and so that we can see how you've developed till now.
Yeah, and I just want to say, Diana, thank you so much for having me. This is an amazing opportunity for myself to share my story, and I couldn't be more grateful to be here. It's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, so tell us like so where were you when you started this journey?
So yeah, when I started this journey, um, I started off as going out of college. I was a CNC machinist at a local shop in Windsor there, and throughout the years, I was there for about 2 years, and throughout that period of time, being in the shop and seeing how um, being in a 9 to 5 job and seeing where people were going that have been there for quite some time. I like for myself, I couldn't see myself in that career path. It was something that was very unfulfilling for me. Um, so there was that aspect too. Um, as a young kid, I've always wanted more out of my life. Like I've always have had big dreams to grow and be successful. And I couldn't see myself working, trading my time for money, clocking in 40 hours a week and getting to that level where I wanted to be in like 30, 40 years down the road. So there was that aspect, and as well, I struggled a lot throughout school, trying to make trying to get good grades and things like that. And school really just it wasn't something that intrigued me. I love the idea. I love the idea of learning. Like I love to learn, but school just really didn't resonate with me. It was a little bit tough for me to get good grades and things like that. And throughout my throughout my teenage years, I struggled a little bit with like drug addiction and alcoholism and things like that. And I really just wanted more meaning out of my life. I was in a position where I got into a couple car accidents and things like that. A very dark place in my life. And waking up one morning, um, just like I've got to do more. I've got to do something because I didn't see myself continuing down that path either. I was hurting those around me, I was hurting my family, and ultimately my health was one of the biggest risks at that moment. So I was just waking up, wanting to get more out of life. I stumbled into real estate actually because I was in an apartment that I couldn't afford in Windsor, and I was really struggling to make ends meet. There was a time, a couple months there where I actually had to borrow rent money from my parents, and at that point, I was on the balcony, and I had a little breakdown, but it's more or less a breakthrough now at this point because it has gotten me to the position where I am today, and that's where I found um, what it like what a landlord was. I was thinking to myself, like I'm struggling here to come up with rent money. Like where is this money going to? And that was when I had found Matt McKeever's channel at the time. I think I typed into Google how to become a landlord, and yeah, sure enough, Matt McKeever's channel popped up, and then ever since then, I've just been eager to make things happen for myself, no matter what it takes. So,
That's great. So then you would say your pivotal point was when you're on that balcony and you had a breakdown and it just kind of was, yeah, you needed to do something more and get better, better things out of life, right?
mhm.
So talking about that, because when you hit like a rock bottom, I feel like it's also very, very hard to like lift yourself up from it because it's just like, you're hitting rock bottom. So what did you do for yourself to try to like lift yourself up? Like, did you start changing things immediately or was it just like a slow process?
Um, it was a very slow process for myself. Um, I was still struggling with drinking and things like that, and what did it for me was diving into reading self-development books and using those as I've always loved reading and things like that. But what self-development did for me was it allowed me to widen my perspective and my awareness. It helped me remove. I kind of think of it as before we have our defining moments. It's almost like we're seeing the world through a different lens. And what reading helped me do was remove that lens and just start seeing what's actually possible. what other people are doing to become successful, studying what entrepreneurs um, and these real estate investors and people who have had amazing successes in their life. It just diving into what they were doing on a daily basis, like reading, setting yourself a morning routine. That was one thing that was really huge for me. Just getting intentional with my morning and becoming more and more more
Better with the routine.
introspective and figuring out the things that I need to take care of in life, and that is, my health, my mindset, and using reading as a channel for that really helped me grow. And throughout that process, I started in wholesaling a little bit and things like that. And yeah, it's just been amazing so far. This is the beginning of my journey, and I'm just so eager to keep growing, keep pushing, and getting 1% better each and every single day.
That's awesome. And are you right now, are you working and working on projects? Or
Well,
oh,
just working on projects with my mentor there. So, um,
that's awesome. So you're full time in real estate now.
mhm.
That's awesome. And so what caused you to get into full time? Was it like you lost your job and like this was like your only kind of like you were just like going hard and just get it to work?
Well, yeah, COVID hit, and there was a period of time in March where I wasn't doing anything. I lost my job. I ended up moving back in with my parents, and throughout that period of time, I was doing a little bit more research into personal development and things like that. And COVID was really the catalyst for that period of time, because it was such a blessing in disguise. I got let go from a position that I was working at in my hometown, back at home collecting insurance checks and things like that. And it was through Cash Flow Tribe, um, the book clubs that we were doing, that allowed me the opportunity to partner up with my mentor Alex, and he had asked me if I would like to help him work on one of his first projects, and that was like, at that moment I was like, this is it, this is time, it's time to go,
That's awesome.
boots on the ground, full swing, and use that as an opportunity to get kickstarted in this whole real estate business. So that was super amazing. I truly believe that when the student is ready, that the teacher will appear. And it was in that moment I was just like, this is the time. We
That's
gotta go boots on
awesome.
the ground, and really just learn as much as possible. I hadn't done any any real estate related tasks before that, aside from wholesaling and things like that. Um, but just being on sites, learning how to swing a hammer, learning the renovation side of things, putting in floorings, painting, baseboards, and things like that. Wiring some electrical panels. It's been amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's been like a huge learning curve for you. But I think it's been a lot of fun, like, because I remember seeing you at the beginning, and I remember
Mm.
you like hide in your little hoodie, and you're just like so quiet, and you're just kind of like not really like wanting to say very much. And then like now it's just like you see like how much happy you are, and like so appreciative you are. So it's just like you can just see how much you've transformed because you put your mind to it. So what kind of
Hmm.
skills do you think you had that helped you make that push from, the troubles that you were in and obviously hitting, you're hitting that pivotal point where it's time to go, but what skills do you think helped you, get going?
That's a great question, Diana. One, I want to say um, courage, just courage to keep pushing forward, and faith that if you keep pushing down the path, keep pushing towards your goals um, on a daily basis, that things will turn out. And a lot of it was surrounding myself with winners like yourself. I truly believe um, that your network is your network, and just surrounding yourself with people who are trying to who are walking along the same path as you, along the same journey it's so valuable because it forces you to level up in ways that are unimaginable. It's amazing.
That's so true. It's very true. Having the community around you helps so much. You don't realize. And it starts kind of, it's like a brainwash that happens. It's just like
Hmm.
you're in their mode of like the community. And then
Hmm.
it's just kind of like you get used to it and you're like, I want to be like that or do that or it is true. I think that's a really good point. Actually, no one has ever said that where it's being in the community, it's kind of like a good way to, you know, be in that atmosphere with like-minded people because,
Hmm.
or even if in that moment you're not like-minded, but that's the mind that you want to be and
Hmm.
just like that because that was kind of like what you were doing at the beginning, right? I knew you were kind of like in the sidelines, like silently watching, not really saying very much, but then obviously it's getting in you, getting in you, getting in you. And I'm sure I think one of probably your pivotal points for confidence was probably your first
Hmm.
wholesale deal, right? Would you say?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
how was that? That must have been very scary at the beginning and then in the end, like that wasn't so bad.
Hmm. Yeah, like, putting myself out there in front of sellers and things like that, going around door knocking and starting to have these conversations with sellers is, that was one thing that really helped really helped me develop my self-confidence and start talking the talk, having these conversations with motivated sellers and things like that. And yeah, I struggled for a little bit, but there was a one day where I was I had spoke with the seller there, and kind of they weren't too happy that I was asking to buy their house, and it kind of hit me, and I was like, oh man, like maybe this is something that I shouldn't be doing. And it was when I was driving home for the day, and I seen a property. I was like, I'm not gonna let this situation, this scenario, bring me down because I believe so much in the process and these things that Ben and Matt have taught me throughout the years. And I just went for it and developed the relationship with the seller. And we were in contact for about a year and a half there, and finally um, COVID hit, and that was one of the catalysts that really was the deciding factor. They were in a home that was too small for them, and someone in that family actually they had COVID, and they were just like, hey Shaun, we're looking to sell and things like that. And yeah, I got the agreement of purchase and sale written up and things like that. That was it was a very nerve-wracking moment, putting signing my name on the dotted line, being in a position where I've purchased a property on the back end. There was so many things going through my mind. Like, is this not going to work out? Like, am I doing the right thing here? And it was just that faith and trusting in the process that I was like, this is it. We've got to do this. I'd love to help this seller out, and in turn make some make some money for myself in an unconventional way. But that was it closed back in November, and once once it was a sign, just all of the fear, all of the worry, just it washed away instantly. And it was in that moment I was like, okay, this works. This is this is something we can work with. This is tangible. Like it was such an amazing experience. I learned so much going through that first wholesale deal. Like being able to just getting familiar with agreement of purchase and sale, things like that, the Form 145 for assignments and amendments and things like that. And a lot of my confidence for that deal came from just being backed by such a strong community that Ben and Matt have created over at Cashflow Tribe. Like I would not have been able to do it at all if it wasn't for their encouragement, their constant pushing and things like that. Seeing other successful individuals throughout Cashflow Tribe, it all goes back to surrounding yourself with the right crowd, surrounding yourself with people that that are where you want to be years down the road. So it was incredible.
That's awesome. And so when you first started even just talking to people about buying their houses, were you doing door knocking or were you sending flyers? Or are you doing door knocking?
Door knocking, yeah.
So was that something like, do you like to be in front of people? Was that something that made you nervous to like just go and knock at someone's door, or was that something you were okay with? It didn't really bother you?
It was a little bit nerve wracking, but again, um, it was just putting myself outside of my comfort zone, being able to start these conversations. It's something that we've all got to do as real estate investors. It's a people business, and they say relationships are everything. So getting out there, starting these conversations with sellers and things like that was a very it was something that I knew I had to do. I've always been kind of shy in that sense, but it was
Something
just
you had to force yourself into?
hmm.
So do you still feel like you're shy now, or do you feel like it's starting to go away a bit, or how do you feel that's going?
It's going good. Being in doing renovations and things like that. It's really helped with my confidence. You know, speaking with contractors and things like that, communicating to these guys what needs to be done throughout the day is it's adding a real boost of confidence to my skill set that I'm still working on it every single day, and it's getting better. But
Yeah.
yeah,
And it
it's
gets easier and easier, right?
mhm,
Which is, I feel like, I think that's what everyone is always scared about. It's like making those steps seems so scary, but once you
mhm,
do them, then you realize like either, man, I was overreacting and it wasn't that
mhm.
bad, or you're like, yeah, that was super scary, but again, that wasn't that bad, and then the next time it's okay, it's a little bit easier.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, because I think is this your first live? Because I know when we were supposed to go before, that was going to be your first live, right?
Hmm. This is my first one on Instagram.
Yeah, because I remember when we first spoke, I could tell like you were like antsy, like I want to do it because I need to practice. Like you're saying, like I need to just put myself out there. But it was at the same time, I could tell that you're just like, oh my God, and you're just kind of like, let's just do this before I say no, you know? Is that how you felt? I felt like that's how I felt when you were doing it. You're kind of like, I'm just gonna say yes because like I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, it's it's something that we've all got to do to step outside of our comfort zones and start having these conversations. It's amazing to be able to talk with amazing people like yourself to talk about our journeys and where we're looking to go in the future and things like that. So it's awesome that I know.
Yeah, it's and what about your parents? What do your parents think? Because I'm sure they've also seen a transformation in you. Because I'm like, I feel like if I see a transformation in you, I can imagine your parents are probably like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Yeah. So yeah, they're quite on board with it. They've seen the changes um, throughout these past couple months, um, especially my weight too. I've lost in the since October there, I've lost over 30 pounds. So that
Wow,
is, yeah. Hmm.
congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. Um, so yeah, my parents are on board with everything on a
Oh,
path
sorry,
that.
I got disconnected there. Sorry, you can keep on going. I got disconnected for a minute.
Oh, good. Yeah, so my parents are super on board with everything that I've been doing so far. They have definitely seen the growth in my confidence, in my physical appearance, and when they see me do, excuse me, they see me do my first wholesale deal. They gave me kudos. They're like, wow, Shaun, this is something. Especially my dad, he said, wow, this is something that um, that would have completely terrified him, and that he would have just quit right away. But it's something that we gotta keep pushing through and keep growing. And I'm sure where I'll be light years ahead in 5 years if I just keep at it, keep grinding, keep doing the.
And it gets easier and easier, I feel like. It'll just
Hmm.
it's very true. They talk about these things, I'm sure you've heard it like you hit ceilings and then it's like while you're in
Hmm.
that specific room to say, you get so used to it that it's nothing. And then you hit a ceiling and then you go through the stresses again because you're learning something new. But then that becomes super easy. And then it's funny looking back in your life and seeing that, wow, back then I would think that this is so scary or it's
Hmm.
so hard. And then it's like, but it's now so easy just because it's become part of your life and you get used to it
Hmm. Hmm.
and you don't realize what kind of changes, like those small changes that you do, how they impact. What do you,
Hmm.
what do you think? So when you went to work with Alex,
Hmm.
like what were you thinking? What would happen? Like what were your kind of like expectations in yourself or in the project?
Um, yeah, that's a great question. I was really just using this opportunity to see where things take me, um, throughout my journey and things like that. Um, it was like it's amazing. I couldn't be more grateful to be working with him and to have a mentor in my life that can show me the ropes and teach me all of these skills and behaviors that drive success on a daily basis. So I guess my initial um, my initial plan was really, just to go in with an open mind, an open heart, and just learn as much as possible.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I guess going in with, yeah, exactly, just wanting to learn, and which is something that's very important because I feel like a lot of people, for example, especially if you feel like, let's say you're an expert in something, you stop listening,
Mhm,
and always kind of keeping your ears open and having that learning mentality is basically what makes us entrepreneurs because we're
mhm,
always having to keep learning and we're always having to improve ourselves to just get further in life, in
mhm.
our entrepreneurial real estate life.
Yeah, I love what you said about the ceilings that we hit in life. Like they're like this my wholesale that I did, that was a major ceiling for me. And those feelings of uncertainty, those feelings of is this going to work out? Like, you kind of get butterflies in your stomach, and it's frightening. But I feel like it's those moments and those times where we get those feelings of uncertainty, where we have that negative self-talk, where it's like, like maybe we won't be able to do this. Like you start thinking about all the bad things that are going to happen. I feel like we've got to we've got to embrace those moments more in life and use those as learning opportunities to push forward. Like, those butterflies in your stomach. That's your body telling you that, this is something that is
Like different
difficult.
than you.
But we've got to use these opportunities as an area to grow, to expand our knowledge and learn that much more on the other side of fear.
That's awesome. Yeah. And so what would you say? So what do you say right now? What are the skills that you're learning and working on right now to, continue leveling up in your entrepreneurial life?
Um, my confidence, getting more and more confident every single day, hopping on lives like this, talking with contractors and things like that, and putting myself out there more. Uh, Confidence and awareness too. I feel like awareness is super super important. Just expanding your mindset every single day.
100%. And it makes sense, right? Awareness is very important because if you don't know what you're doing, if you're not paying attention to your actions, how are you even supposed to learn and improve yourself? Right?
Hmm.
So that's very true. And awareness is something that's very hard for a lot, majority of people to actually be aware and pay attention to what you're doing and analyzing it and being like, was that a good approach? Do I need to change it? It takes a lot of work to be able to definitely be aware. Usually a lot of us need the feedback too, right? I think feedback
Hmm.
is also a good way of looking into that because sometimes it is hard to be aware of the things that we do. You can't, it's hard to like look at yourself because you're in it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that's awesome that you're thinking about awareness as being important because yeah, we need it to be able to level up.
Hmm.
So where do you see yourself? So with what you've done so far, have you started making future plans of some goals that you want to have like in 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, 5 to 10 years. If I just just keeping at it and things like that. You know,
Or right
and
now you're still in the learning process, so haven't thought that far out?
yeah, I'm still definitely still in the learning process, but you know, in 5 to 10 years, I'd like to see myself with some properties of my own, being in a position where, you know, I can, uh, in a project management position where I can um, help investors and manage and uh, start working on some of my own projects and things like that. But you know, I'm 24. I'm 24 now. By the time I'm 30, I'd like to at least um, have 5 properties under my belt,
That's awesome.
become financially independent and free, and just you know just keep working at it every single day.
So do you think you'll be trying to, like, are you now just 100% gonna still stick with the real estate, or are you gonna still get like a job on the side, or your like 100% focus is just like making real estate work?
Making real estate work, and you know keeping at this renovation game for as long as possible, because you know these skills that I'm building now, they're all they're all stepping stones to to use that much later on in life. You know, like being able to uh, you know learn what it takes to renovate a property from start to finish. These are all skills that are going to translate into that much more in my journey moving forward.
That's awesome that you've been able to find your path at 24. You found your path and basically, retired from the 9 to 5, and now this is going to be your, although I'm pretty sure it isn't working in real estate probably like 16 hours a day, but it's a fun 16 hours a day, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Are you working crazy hours?
Yeah. About 12 hours a day, just being immersed in the projects and things like that. You know, coming up with lists of things to get, constant Home Depot trips and things like that. You know, measuring cabinets and things. It's amazing.
But it's fun like that. Like I feel like when you're doing something you love, it's so different. And when you're working is for yourself, it's a completely different story than like that being to the 9 to 5 and working for someone else and either not being happy in what you do or maybe not enjoying your team. Like at least in this way, you're working for you, you're improving yourself and following your goals and what you want to do and having your independence, which basically you're saying
Hmm.
like you want to be independent in 5 years, but really you're already independent now. You just need those
Hmm.
houses to kind of give you some more, luxuries to be able to do more things. But you're technically
Hmm.
now able to do what you want.
Yeah, it's it's amazing, Diana. You know, I finally feel like I'm on a path that I have chosen for myself. And you know, working these long days, um, working these long hours, it doesn't even feel like work.
Exactly.
Because because it's just going to translate into that much more into the future. I'm building my skill set, my knowledge, and things like that to become that much more successful. We've got to stay working. You know, that's just it. Complacency was one thing that really killed. Um, you know, especially through
Sorry, say that
COVID.
again. Putting what, sorry?
Complacency. You know, just
Oh,
in COVID, you know, I wasn't doing much. I mean, you know, just sitting on the couch all day playing video games and things like that. uh, I it wasn't fulfilling for me. And you know, now to be in a position where I enjoy what I'm doing every single day, working towards my goals, my future self. it's been incredible.
It is. And it's a great point that you brought up too, is that, we're all people that need to have a mission in life to do something. And for example, like that, when people think like, oh, let's say I want to retire, let's say at 30 or 40 or something much younger, and and then they say like, but you want to do nothing, and then it's like, no, not at all. That's like when
Hmm.
you retire, it's like when you get to do what you want, and if you can retire early and like that, like with you already at 24, you're basically going to be doing what you want. You love the path that you're on.
Hmm.
It's so amazing because it's just you can only grow from there. And it is true. It's very good that you've noticed that, losing your job was a blessing in disguise and gave you that opportunity to actually like that. Like maybe you were bored and doing nothing at the beginning, kind of lost, but then you found your purpose. And,
Hmm.
like now it's like you found something that you love and enjoy. And I mean, what can you ask for? What more can you
Yeah.
ask for when you're just, you found your passion.
Hmm. Yeah, it's I'm so grateful for all the just through all of the trials and tribulations that I've been through because it's those defining moments. I wouldn't trade them for the world because they brought me to where I am today.
100%. Yeah, that's also a great thing that you're also like, yeah, you had your bad times and things were happening, but most likely if it didn't happen, you probably wouldn't be here because then you wouldn't really be searching for, what you want to do, or, you'd probably would get complacent and been like, life is okay. I can do my
Hmm.
job as a CNC person, and everything would be okay, but experiencing your experiences is what gets you to where you are now. If you don't have the hard times, you don't appreciate the good times. And some
Hmm.
of us like need hardcore hard times to really, really understand like, no, this is the path that I want, So that's
Hmm.
amazing that you've realized that.
Yeah, it's incredible, Diana. I'm so happy to be on this journey, to be in a position where I can move forward and grow every single day. I'm
I know
just
it's
so
going to be
I'm so
fun to
grateful.
watch you grow and see how successful you're going to be because like that you're so young, you have so much that you can do. And yeah, it's going to be exciting to see you grow. I want to thank you so much for coming on because I loved hearing your story and like this, like even though you're in the start of your personal development, but it'll be fun to see you in a few years and you're going to be like it'll be fun to compare, like
Sure, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Compare like who you are now and then where you'll be then. You'll probably be like, who is this little pipsqueak?
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much for coming on. It was awesome to have you on. And yeah, I think your story is amazing and I'm sure like the viewers are gonna love hearing your story because like that we all have different walks of life and it was just awesome to hear yours.
Thank you so much, Tiana. This has been amazing. This is I love what you're doing with your transformation time, bringing investors of all walks of life on here to share their story. It's incredible, and I'm so grateful to have met you to be walking along the same path as you. It's amazing.
100%. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's amazing that we've met and I mean it's gonna be fun to see where we go, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for
Yeah.
watching. Thank you, Shaun, for coming on and on to the next episode. Bye, everyone.
Appreciate it, Ryan. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.